Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I wasn't actually planning to do Rat Run today. Rat Run number 24. So this is season 3 of the Rat Run by Marty Sears. And the reason I wasn't planning to do it is I only did a Marty Sears puzzle on Monday, and that was a wonderful puzzle. But the Rat Run puzzles in this season so far have been incredibly difficult. Fantastic, but really, really challenging. And I know that yesterday I took on this puzzle, which took me 2 hours and made a Sudoku movie. This Andrew Sarkis incredible thing called Death Spiral. But today's Rat Run is only 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty, so that was perfect. That's exactly the sort of difficulty level I was looking for today. We don't like to have too many, tricky puzzles or impossible puzzles in a row. But hopefully this one will be, well, it should be of average difficulty, whatever that now means. It's called Between You and Me. I found it on Logic Masters, of course. It's incredibly well thought of. This really is the most incredible series of Sudoku puzzles that there's ever been. We've waited a year for season 3, and I've loved the first few puzzles in this season, and I'm really looking forward to tackling this one. And we've got 2 rats again today, so Finkz and Phinx. We'll explain the rules. We'll read the rules together in a moment or two's time. But there's Maverick. Maverick's going to fly over. It's actually been a better day here today. We've had the most appalling weather for what seems like weeks, and the forecast is for more appalling weather for weeks more. But anyway, today it has we have seen the sun, even if it's only briefly. Now, what else can I tell you about before we get cracking with this puzzle? A few things to mention. That we've got over on Instagram, TikTok, and as YouTube Shorts every day. Mark does Wordle in a Minute. I'm sure lots of you follow that series already, in which he tries to do Wordle on hard mode, which means you have to use any positive information you glean from your previous guesses. And he's been doing that for years, actually, now. Well, yesterday we started a new season, Minute Cryptic in a Minute. That's also going to, hopefully be a regular thing. So if you do enjoy your cryptic crosswords, you might want to check that out. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen. I might forget, but I will try. And, the other most important news is that we've got a brand new competition running over on Patreon, Duality 3. Let's have a look at where we are. Here is so this was the state of play as of yesterday, I think. So we'd had 1,000 solvers of the first puzzle. So how do I do this? Can I just reload it? 1,033, 1,214, nearly 1,000 solves for the second puzzle. And 47 solvers now. Where was that? Was that 31 yesterday? Or did I misread that or misremember it? That's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. 19 puzzles. That's quite a bit. That's quite a lot to solve in just 3 days. Well, it went live at 4 p.m. on the 1st of February. But well done to everybody who's even solved one of the puzzles. You can see the cast of brilliant setters who've contributed there. It's really, really worthwhile getting stuck into it. You'll enjoy it a lot. Thanks, of course, to the Skunk Works for producing such a lovely, lovely gift for our patrons. So that's over on Patreon right now. Now let's do birthdays as well. Let me look at my list of birthdays. Taylor, you've turned 24 today. I know this because your boyfriend Caden wrote to me. I think the two of you are planning a holiday to England later this year, so I hope that happens, and I hope by then it will have stopped raining. And apparently you both watch most evenings, so thank you both for watching. And Taylor, I hope you have a brilliant birthday today. I hope the chocolate cake is fantastic. Next we'll go to Essen in Germany, where Daniel, you've turned 43 today. I know this because your partner Tina wrote the most effusive message saying that you were the love of her life and the person she wants to spend her life with. And I think, Daniel, you've been watching for years. Now, I will say that in the email message that I got from Tina, it didn't actually mention your name, Daniel, but it did give enough information about you that I think I've been able to work out who you are based off previous correspondence we might have had. So, Daniel, I hope I've got that right. Oh, I've got something in my eye all of a sudden. Go away, thing in my eye. Yeah, so Daniel, I hope I've got your name right, obviously. Many happy returns. I hope the chocolate cake is splendid. Next, Ethan. Ethan, you've been watching the channel for more than a year now, and I know you're more of a fan of sort of solving Rubik Cube puzzles, which I do enjoy the Rubik's Cube. What an incredible invention that was back in the day. And you're planning on getting some chocolate cake today, Ethan, so I hope it's properly iced. That's very important. And then finally, we'll go to the Netherlands, where Sem, you've turned 25 today. I know this because your girlfriend Indy wrote to me, and in fact used one of the most lovely expressions. So Indy told us, Sem, that you watch the videos as bedtime stories, which I thought was a lovely way to describe what we do. So that means there's sort of a villain, a gentle villain, in the form of Marty Sears today. And hopefully the goodies will win. I'm counting myself as a goodie. But Indy, thanks for that phrase, and Sem, many happy returns. Now, let's have a look at Rat Run 24, Between You and Me, by the great Marty Sears, and we'll read the rules together. Let me just check that the recording's working. I still don't quite trust OBS to do this, but I think it is working. So what have we got? We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, so we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Now, the aim of the experiment. Finkz and Phinx must both reach the cupcakes by finding a path through the maze. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have got I should have got Logic Masters up, shouldn't I? Because I can't do that now, or at least I don't know how to do it. Is there going to be a way I could fix this? Because there's normally some flavor text, isn't there? I might be able to work out a way to do this. Let me have a go. Let me see if I can do this. So Marty Sears, Rat Run 24. Okay, let's go there. Let's go there. If I can find it, then we can look at it together, and that would be good. Between you and me. Well, I've got it here. I don't know if I can show you it though. Maybe I can. Oh no, I don't know. How am I going to get that over there? I'm not sure. I can read it to you though. It says Experiment 24 Mint, 4th of February 1975. As Finkz and Phinx grow closer, I can feel the opposite happening with Elliot and I. Once a trusted colleague and good friend, he is becoming increasingly withdrawn, guarded, even paranoid. As well as continuing to lock all his notes away in his bottom drawer, he's now changed the access code to the tech storage rooms. The trust between us has definitely... And then there's a rip, and I can't read what it says after that. But anyway, hopefully that worked. Right, so let's go back to the rules. So, well, the aim of this experiment, we've got Finkz and Phinx must both reach the cupcakes by finding a path through the maze. The paths must not visit any cell more than once, cross themselves or each other, or pass through any thick maze walls. The paths must only converge at the cupcake cell, which is there, look. As well as moving orthogonally, now that means in a cardinal direction, north, south, east or west, Finkz and Phinx may move diagonally if there's a 2x2 space in which to do so, but they may never pass diagonally through a round wall spot on the corner of a cell. So what they can't do, look at that 2x2, we could not move like that. That would not be valid because you'd go through the round wall spot. You could move diagonally through it like that because there's no, that's sort of an empty 2x2 and there's no round wall spot to prevent the diagonal movement. Okay, now we've got cages. Digits may not repeat within a cage. All cages have the same total to be deduced. An electricity symbol indicates the cage's shock value. Cages with a shock value of 5 or higher may not be entered. Cages with a shock value lower than 5 are safe to enter. So that's a shock value. So if that's 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, you can't go in the cage. Is it you can't go in or you can? Cages with a shock. Yeah, you can't go in if this is a high value. If this is a low value, and 5 is counted as high. Yeah, so if this is 1, 2, 3 or 4, then you can go in the cage. And all the cages have to add to the same. So imagine this added up to 15. Everything would add up to 15. All the cages would add up to 15. We've got 6 cages to deal with. Now, forbidden doors. If a red X, there's only one red X, if a red X sits between 2 digits, they sum to 10. So these 2 digits sum to 10. Those 2 there. And now we've got the test constraint. So, in this experiment, both paths must be a valid between line, i.e. the highest and lowest digits on a path can be found at its ends, brackets on the rat and the cupcake cell in some order, and not anywhere else along that path. Yeah, so the way between lines work is, let's draw a between line. Say this was a between line, and say this was a 2, and this was a 7. Now these 3 digits would then have to be between 2 and 7. So they couldn't, I mean, obviously in this example, there's no Sudoku possibility that would allow them to even be 2 or 7, but they couldn't be 2 or 7. They have to be between 2 and 7. So the digits that they could be would be 3, 4, 5, or 6. And that's how between lines work. So hopefully that is clear. I have seen between lines before, so they are not completely new to me, but do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So, what do we do here? So we've got to build between lines, taking Finkz and Phinx, which I'm going to rechristen, aren't I? I meant to rechristen them so that it's clear. It was inks and some. Oh, was it pinks and inks? It must be pinks and inks. Yeah, we can actually draw the first way that this is going to move, can't we? Because the top rat, I don't know whether that's Finkz or Phinx. You can take your choice. But if the top rat went that way, which would be permissible by the diagonal rule, then the bottom rat couldn't get out without crossing the path or going to the same cell. So I'm going to say that the top rat, Finkz, is now pinks and goes this way, and the bottom rat, which can be inks, I think we're meant to use blue for inks. So we've got inks at the bottom, pinks at the top, and then pinks and inks both have to reach the cupcake. So that's okay. We can say something about that then. Yeah, in fact, I can say something about that. Pinks must reach the cupcake like that, I think, because there are 3 ways in which the cupcake could be reached: from the north, from the east side, or from the south side. So all of those are possible. No diagonal movement is possible because of the round wall spots. Now, if pinks, well, we can see from the way that the paths are going to go that Pinks is going to be on an inside track. So however Pinks gets to the cupcake, Inks will have to go round the outside of Pinks's path. Because if let me try and let's try and do it. So imagine that was the path Pinks took. How could Inks ever get to the cupcake? The path Inks takes would have to cross the Pinks path, and that's not allowed. It doesn't matter what route we go. I mean, I'm messing this up. It doesn't matter what route we take. Phinx just couldn't get through to the cupcake without crossing Phinx's path. So that's not going to work. So if Phinx did go like that, then for Phinx to come down here, the paths would have crossed, wouldn't they? And that's not going to work. That cannot be true. So Phinx must come in from the north. Phinx must come in, well, we don't know actually. Phinx could go that way or could go that way. One of those things is true for Phinx. And then there's a world of ambiguity up here. I mean, Phinx could go this way, this way, this way. I suppose Phinx can't go northeast as the only option ruled out. But Phinx can't do that. Phinx could go north or northwest. Okay, so... no, I was about to say something that's not true. I was about to say that Phinx had to go here, but Phinx could go here, because that diagonal thing is possible if Phinx doesn't go here. Okay, no, so I don't really know what to do now. What were the rules of this? It always pays to remember the rules. Yeah, so we have to do the cupcake thing. Oh, the between line thing and the cage thing. They're the only real things that we know, aren't they? The cages. But how can the cages cannot be relevant yet, because how do you know whether you have to go to a cage? No. All right, it must be the between line thing. So both paths form a valid between line. I suppose they do add up to 10. Well, that doesn't seem too bad. I'm not really sure which way round I think it goes. I was about to say, does that have to be 1, 9 and then this be a 5 or something like that? But I've just thought, if that was 4, 6 and this was, say, 1 or 9, that would also give a lot of... Because what you want to do is have maximum flexibility. So that there are lots of available digits for Phinx and Phinx to use. So what you're not going to be able to do, I mean, imagine this was 4 and this was 6. You can't make this sort of 7. I mean, that's just going to be nonsense, because the 4 line, or the line that's joining the 4 to the 7, you could have 2 digits on, 5 and 6, but the 6 line you couldn't have any digits on. There are no digits between 6 and 7. So how many digits do we need here? So if we get... Because Phinx and Phinx are going to take quite a lot of cells in this box, aren't they? To get... That's not even true, is it? Because Phinx could go out in 2. So Phinx is going to take at least 2 cells in box 8. Phinx... Yeah, actually, that's not such a bad thought. Let me just show you, just expand slightly on that. So Phinx could get out very quickly, but Phinx must spend at least 2 cells of time in box 8. Phinx, on the other hand, if we try and get Phinx out of box 8 as quickly as we can, can you do it in less than 4? Not sure you can, actually. No? Don't think you can. So, okay, let's. So what does that mean? That means that whatever this domino is, whatever the cupcake is, and whatever this, because there's going to be 6 digits in there that are all different, that all have to lie between. Yeah, but it's 2 different lines, isn't it? So, yeah, okay, but what that does mean is that that can't be 4, 6. Because if this is 4, 6, the furthest away I can put the cupcakes from the digits 4 and 6, I could make this 1 or I could make it 9. Let's make it 1 because it's the same logic either way round. Now the digits I've now got to play with are the digits. There's only 5 of them. Or is there even 2, 3, 4? No, there's only 4 of them. 2, 3, 4 and 5. On the 4 line I could put 2 and 3. And on the 6 line, I could put 2, 3, 4, 5. That's still only 4 distinct digits, and there must be at least 6 distinct digits. And anything closer to 4 and 6 than 1 is going to be worse than that. So maybe this has to be 1, 9. Let's just think about that further. So if this was 3, 7, what would you make this to give it the maximum flexibility? It's worse. It's actually but it can't keep getting worse. I don't know actually. No, it is. It's just horrible. Nothing works. 3, 7 is worse than 4, 6. Because for one line, I'm going to have virtually no digits you can put on it. There must be at least, even Phinx needs 2 distinct digits. So what digit am I putting in here? There's nothing that works. I mean, if you put 5 in, both lines could only have 1 digit, the 4 and the 6. If you put 9 in, for example, the 3 to 9 digit is the 3 to 9 line is perfect, but the 7 to 9 line is a problem. You can only put 8 on it. So it's definitely not 3, 7. That's so Marty, that is. That's just a weird. Marty must just see that naturally. Okay, 2, 8. What could we make this? 5 might work there. 5, actually, hang on. Does 5 work there? No. No, actually it doesn't. Sorry. No, 5 doesn't work. This is 1, 9, but it's hard to really. It's hard to see why. Yeah, if this is 5. And it has to be a number that allows both the numbers here to have at least 2 digits between them and the number you put in here. So you can't have 4, for example, because the 8, 4 line might work fine, but the 2, 4 line will just fail. So you have to put 5 in, and now the 2 to 5 line or the 8 to 5 line is perfect, and Phinx could take advantage of that. But the other line is only going to have 2 distinct digits on it, and the Inks line must have 4 distinct digits on it at least. So I think this has to be 1, 9. And presumably. No, because that doesn't work either. You see, this is right. This is weird. Okay. This has to be 1, 9. I'm agreeing with myself about that. This, though, I wanted to say, so this has to be 5, but 5 doesn't work. Because it's the same point we just looked at with 2 and 8. If you make this 5, you're fine on the Phinx line. In fact, you've got a degree of flexibility because let's say that this was 1, you could put 2, 3 and 4 on the Phinx line. But now this is 9, and you've only got the digits 6, 7, and 8 on the inks line, and you need 4 distinct digits. So what's actually going on is that this is 4 or 6. You don't know which, or I don't know which. And now the Phinx line, so imagine this was 1 and this was 4. Now the Phinx line could work because you only need 2 digits on the Phinx line, and you could have 2 and 3. But the inks line could also work because between 9 and 4, you've got 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you have got the 4 digits you know you're going to need to get the inks line out of box 8. That's sort of magnificent. I tell you what's magnificent about that. What's magnificent about that is that all of that logic has only come from sort of the 2 rats, the cupcake, and box 8. That's all it was. And Marty somehow can see that's going to force 1, 9 and force a 4 or a 6 here. Right. And what that does, though, is it forces the Phinx line to go there. Because the Phinx line, whether this is 9, if this is 9, this is going to be 6. And if this is 1, this is going to be 4. Because the Phinx line, we have to provide maximum flexibility for the inks line. Inks needs 4 distinct digits, at least. And in fact, it's going to be 4 distinct digits. So Phinx only gets to play with 2 digits now. So this is either a 1-4 pair or a 9-6 pair. And this digit is either a 7 or an 8 or a 2 or a 3. But the point is that Phinx has to get out of this box in 2 cells. Phinx doesn't have more cells than that. So Phinx is going to have to do diagonal movement. And now, now inks has to go diagonally as well, because if I used to have a friend called Binky, but that's a different thing altogether. But if I still do have a friend called Binky, why did I use that's weird? It's probably because I call him Brian now more than Binky. Anyway, sorry. Now, so this digit has to go there, or this path has to go there, because if it did go here and then up, inks would take 5 cells at least to get out of the box. In fact, it would take 5 cells, or she would take 5 cells, and we can't take 5 cells because we've only got 4 cells to play with. So inks definitely does that. Then I don't know what she does after that. So now Phinx has to get, well, Phinx is either going there or there. I think it's very much more likely that Phinx does something like that, because we've only got 2 cells. Well, no, we've only got 2 digits that we can ever put on the Phinx line. So we can only spend oh no. Well, hang on then. So now you can only spend, well, how does this work? This is just right. What I'm worried about now is that whatever this digit is, whatever that cell is, we've sort of used up all the digits in row 7 that Phinx is allowed to take, because there are only 2. But this cell is going to go, well, at some point, well, it's going to have to go up, in fact, immediately, because it can't go there, because that would be a 3rd Phinx digit in one row, which we know doesn't exist. So Phinx is going to go in one of those cells. But Phinx is also going to go in one of those cells, and I can't connect those. Even if I go diagonally there, I can only go, this round wall spot prevents me from going to this cell from here. So I'm going to go there and there at best. And then I can't go there. I can't. So, sorry, I don't know if I'm making sense here, but what you can't close the loop. You can't close the path quickly enough because you can't do that. If I could do that, I would understand. But I can't do that because now I've got 3 Phinx cells in row 6. So there's okay, let's think about this. There's a Phinx in one of these, definitely, to get Phinx to close the loop or close the path. And there's a Phinx in one of these. So I don't understand. Hang on. So what? That didn't help me drawing the circles in. This is bizarre. This is absolutely bizarre. So now what you've got to do somehow is draw. This is weird. You've got to draw a Phinx path that goes. This is very difficult. I can't really. I can see it's difficult to do it. I can't see how to do it, if that makes any sense. And I know it doesn't. The problem is everything is too constrained. What I mean by that is that, let me try and show you. Say Phinx goes there and Phinx goes here, for example. Now, hopefully you can see that Phinx has spent all the time Phinx is ever going to be allowed to be in row 6. But perhaps more importantly, Phinx only gets to spend one more cell of time in column 5 and one more cell of time in column 4. And yet, Phinx can't spend. What we can't do is this sort of thing, because that's got 3 cells in box 5. I'm only allowed to spend 2 cells in any row, column, or box of the Sudoku. So the path has become incredibly difficult to do. Because here's a way to think about that. The return journey that brings Phinx back here, does that use box 5? That's a good question. Does it use box 5? I think it does. Because if it didn't, if box 5 was unavailable, you can spend. How do you ever get through box 6? You can't get through box 6 because you're going to need 3 cells to get from there to one of these 3. And that's going to put 3 of whatever digit, whatever this is, either going to be 7, 8 or 2, 3. It's going to put 3 of those digits in there. You can't do it. So the return journey. Let's get rid of this because this might be wrong. But the return journey that gets Phinx back to this part of the world needs a cell from box 5, and yet we know that Phinx is going to take one of these in box 5. So that's the 2 cells that Phinx is allowed to spend in box 5. Now, if Phinx goes up here, therefore, we know that the return journey has to take into the last cell of box 5. Well, we can't go there. We've already talked about this because that's going to put 3 cells in row 6. And nothing else is going to work. If we could go there in theory, but then on the return journey, we're going to need to go through box 5 and we're going to have 3 cells in box 5. So in fact, what this tells us is we do this. We definitely go here for Phinx's journey. And now the next, yeah, we're going to have to, this is weird. Now you're going to have to go diagonally again because you can only spend 2 cells of time in box 4. So if you go there, you can't. It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. In fact, I'm tempted to say that you've got to use this cell to get through box 5. It's going to be something like this, I think. Maybe that's the point. Yeah, maybe that's the point, actually. All of these cells are now impossible for the Phinx path. This cell certainly. Oh, careful. No, that is impossible. You can't do a wiggle like that because you'd have too many cells in column 6. So that cell is impossible. So the Phinx path, I think, is going to have to take this cell, which means we've then got to get through box 2 in 2 cells. So we're going to have to go diagonally in there. You've got to get through box 6 in 2 cells, so you're going to have to go diagonally here, because if you go here, you're going to take 3 cells. So that is definitely a string of Phinxiness. Not a sentence I thought I would say today. So that's a string of Phinxiness. That's... yeah, okay, so I definitely have to go here for Phinx. And now... well, again, I can't go north. If I go north, I've now spent all the time I'm allowed to spend in column 3. And yes, I could go that way, but then to get back to the Phinx path, I'm going to have to come back into column 3 again. So I'm going to have to go diagonally again. And now I can't go any more diagonally because I'll cut off inks. Oh, no, I was going to say, so maybe I do that, but I can't do that because of the wall spot. Ah! Oh, well, hang on, how do I do it then? Oh, so I've got to go north, because if I do go there, it's broken. Because where do I go next? I can't go there, that would be 3 cells in row 3. I can't go north because that would be 3 cells in column 3, and if I go that way, I'm going to spend 3 cells in column 3 when I come back to column 3 again. So I have to go north, and then I must go diagonally because I can't go through this sort of Scylla and Charybdis for the same reasons as before. I've now spent my 2 cells in box 1, so I have to go there, and so this is ridiculous. This is one of the cleverest things that I've ever seen in my life. How can you do this from just this start? Marty has somehow seen that just with this, the Phinx path is forced to be this massive thing. I mean, this is going to be profound for the inks path as well. I mean, where does the inks path go now? The inks path has got to go there. It's got to go there. The inks path cannot share cells. Okay, I might not. Yeah, look at the inks path now. The inks path is going to have to go through that cage. It has to. Because it can't get... this is absolutely magnificent. How you can do this? How have you come up with this, Marty? Marty is a complete genius. He is a genius. So, oh, I see. Oh, no. Oh, hang on. Do I see? I might see. Well, I've forced the path onto two thingies. A thingy being a technical term for a electricity symbol. So, oh, how does it work? So, if this is 9 and this is 6, Phinx is taking 7s and 8s. And Inks is taking 2s, 3s, 4s and 5s. So that digit would be a 2, 3, 4 or 5. That's okay. Yeah, it's not going to work the other way round. If this is 1 and this is 4, then all of the Phinx path cells are 2s and 3s. But the Inks path cells are going to lie between 4 and 9. So they're at least equal to 5. And I can't put 5 on an electricity symbol because I'm not allowed to go in the cage if I do. Yeah, that doesn't work. So we know it's the other way round. We know that this is 9, this is 6, this is 1. And now the Phinx path is entirely constructed of 7s and 8s. So that's also a 7 or an 8. I bet you can colour this now. This will be. That's a very tempting thing to do, but let's maybe not major on that yet because I'm sure we can do more now. So these are 2, 3s, 4s and 5s. This is all 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is all 2, 3, 4 and 5. You can't put 5 on the electricity. So the maximum value now of a cage would be 8 and 4, which is 12. And the minimum value of a cage is 10. Right, hang on. Yeah, this is a 4-cell cage. So its minimum value is 10, which would be 1, 2, 3 and 4. But its maximum value is 12. Now a 4-cell 12 cage in Sudoku must have 1 and 2 in it. Because imagine it didn't. If it was 1, 3, 4, 5, it would add to 13. So it must have 1 and 2. Well, I've not put a 1 in there, so I can put the 1 in there. I'll tell you what that does. The 1, this is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. The 1 forces the path. Because that's like a stopper now. The path isn't allowed to go through a 1 or a 9. So the Inks path has to go there. So that one is a 2, 3, 4 or 5. Now, you know what I was about to do? This is a mad, though, I'll tell you. I mean, it's mad. It makes me look stupid, but I do that myself many times, and I'm about to do it again. I was about to say, in this box, you've got to put 1 there. Because for some reason, this wall is making me think that this one here is not in box 9, but it is. It is in box 9, so what I was about to say was complete and utter gibberish. I'm not exactly sure what to do now. See, I don't think we have to go through this cage. If that goes down... no, we don't have to. I don't think. Oh, maybe we do because we'd get too many low digits on the Inks line in column 1. So the maximum value is 12. So that cage has got a 1 and a 2 in it, and the 1 is not there. I'm not sure. 1. No, I'm not sure. I maybe I'm meant to do Sudoku with 1s or 9s. One is limited in this box. And a bit limited in box thingy. But do I have to be careful about where I put 1 in this box? No, I don't think I do. I was just wondering if that was a 1, then that would force the path to do that. I think that's okay. No, it's probably not that, is it? It's going to be something different. I'm not sure, to be perfectly frank. Okay, so we may have to think again. How though? How do we know what to do next? I don't know. Let's have a look at 7s and 8s because I can't. I'm not making head nor tail of these of the inksy line. Right. So look, we can sort of colour these a bit, can't we? That's now clearly not purple, so that's purple, which means those 2 are yellow at least. That one is now yellow. That one's purple. That one's yellow. That one's purple. So that one's yellow. Now what can we? I must know that one. That's yellow. So I've got 1, 2. I've got 7 yellows. I can put a yellow in the top corner of the grid. There are 4 yellows looking at box 3. So now I've got 8 yellows. So I should be able to get 9. Right. There must be a yellow there by similar logic. Now, that doesn't work. Right, where's purple? Oh, this is very good. This is very good. Where's purple in box 7? The answer is there. And the reason I'm excited about that, believe it or not, is that that's shifting the 1 over. So that's very good, because 1s we know the path can't go through. So now this one, Inks's path, is going to have to go there, and it's got to get out of the box within 4 cells. So it can't rinky-dink, is what I mean. If it rinky-dink, that would be 5 cells of nonsenses in box 4. So it must go down. I don't now know if it goes there or there, but that is the path it takes through this box. Right. And now I know the cage total, because this digit is now at least a 6. And if you were to put a 6 in a 4-cell cage, how could you fill the other digits minimally? They'd have to be a minimum of 1, 2, 3. That's 12. That's our maximum from this 2-cell cage. So it must be 6, so you certainly can't put 9 there. This must be a 1, 2, 3 triple, of which that is not a 1. So this is good. There's a 1 in one of these, so this is a 1. Let's double click all our 1s actually, and see if we can we do better. Yeah, we can. Where's 1 in box 2? There is a 1, remember, in one of those cells, so this is a 1. There's a 1 in that cage, but we already knew that's a 4-cell cage. It's adding to 12, so we knew it had 1 and 2 in it already. So we can't. I tell you what, it can't have. It can't have 2 1s in it, so we can't put 1 in there. So look at box 6. By Sudoku, the 1 is in one of these 4 cells. Well, it can't be in here, or there'll be 2 1s in this cage. So it's got to be in there, and that means it's not there. So there's a 1 here. These 2 are now unavailable for the path. So Inks's path is now going there. Look. Which is, this is so beautiful. It's so beautiful, because now, how could this, what is this cell? I haven't got a clue what it is. But it's at least equal to 6 by Sudoku, because there's a 2, 3, 4, 5 quadruple in the top row. So this is at least equal to 6. It's not 9, I can see that. I don't know whether it can be. I don't know whether it can be purple or not. But the point is that now this is electrified or something. So this cage is out of bounds. So now Inks has to go down. And then presumably Inks can't have any more cells in box 2 because she's used up all of 2, 3, 4 and 5. So Inks is going to have to go diagonally down. Oh dear, have I messed up this? So, yeah, okay, so Inks would then have to go up, I think, which is permissible. And then through this passageway. But again, yeah, I've got to be really careful. I've made these cells grey, which is making me think that you can't go diagonally through them, but you can. So I think I could go diagonally down here. I've got to be just very careful. But I think this is all forced. Oh, I tell you what, this cage adds up to 12, doesn't it? So that's not a 6. So that is purple. It's not yellow. So that's a purple. So is that good? Not sure. Not so sure it is. Ah, I see. Oh, it is beautiful. It's beautiful. Hang on. What's that digit? I'm jumping around a bit here, but there's a lot going on in my head. Yeah, that's great. Look, I've got 2, 3, 4 and 5 all used in row 2. So we can't go from here, because Inks hasn't got any more digits that could be the pathway. So Inks goes there into 2, 3, 4 or 5. Oh, this is electricity that must be sufficiently small. 5 is not sufficiently small, is it, on electricity? So that's 2, 3 or 4. But what I was going to say is that Pinks's path is not yet finished. But Pinks only goes on 7s and 8s, and that can't be a 7 or an 8. And we know that Pinks has only got one more cell to spend in box 6 to get through box 6, so Pinks must go there, and now must close. That is the Pinks path. It is completely and utterly forced. So now Pinks goes in the corner. Well, no, Pink goes in the corner. And that probably does something. Oh, yeah, here's a point. Right, this cage here, which adds to 12, now doesn't have a 6 in it, because that can't be a 6. So there are 2 ways to make 4-cell Sudoku cages sum to 12. 1, 2, 3, 6, which this one is, and 1, 2, 4, 5. So this one doesn't have 3 in it. This one must be 2, 4, or 5. Which might be important. I don't know. Okay. So now, what do you think we do next? That's the question. I haven't got a clue is the answer. But, okay, this cage has to add to 12 and can't be 5, 7 or 4, 8. So that's 3, 9. As 3, 9, and I know the order. And that... Right, this 3 means this is a cage that's okay to enter, but we can't go into a 9 with Inks' path. So Inks is going to have to do a little deviation and go there. Still don't know whether Inks does that or that, which feels very peculiar, but I think it's true. So we can get rid of some 3s in the grid. This is definitely a 3 in this domino, so this isn't a 3. We've got a 6. Oh, I see, sorry. Yeah, there's a 6-9 pair that I'd never noticed in box 1. So this digit is 2, 4 or 5, well, which makes sense because it's on the path. We could have got that a different way. And this row needs another of 6 and 9, which must be there. Oh, there's probably all sorts of Sudoku. This is a 6 or a 9. because 2, 3, 4 and 5 in box 8 are going to be on the Inks path, so that which is going to have one of these two cells. Now, what do you think we do next? Don't know. I have to say I'm blown away by this though. This is a great example of Marty's complete genius. I've got loads of 6s and 9s in the grid. Maybe we have to colour those or something. That is also... Oh, that's a good one. Where's... this is obvious. Where's 6 in box 3? It's got to go there. So that's 6, that's 9. Oh, okay, that didn't do as much as I thought it might. 6 is placed in box 6, though. So how do we do that? Maybe I've got to label this up as... Oh, look. Yeah, the path can't go. The path has to close. Inks has to go that way, because she can't go from here through the 7 or the 8. So these two digits are very low. And now that's lovely. Right, so this digit is definitely on the path for Inks to get through box 6. So let's label it and then have a look at column. In fact, this is a 1-9 pair by Sudoku, I've now realised. Neither of which is allowed to be on the path. I could, yeah, maybe I should have put 6s and 9s in grey. Maybe that would have helped to highlight the path. But you can now see exactly how the path must flow through. Is that... Oh no, I haven't... Oh no, we can keep... Okay, so I've just got an ambiguity in terms of getting from box 7 to box 8, but we've nearly done both paths now. And we've got something very colourful going on. 9 in the top row has to be here. So this digit is 2, 3, 4 or 5. This digit is 2, 3, 4 or 5. You've guessed it, that digit's 2, 3, 4 or 5. Right, okay, so if you look at... Oh, that's not even true. So we're not looking at that. I was going to say there was something going on in row 4, but there totally isn't. What about 6 in box 7? We can put that in. So that becomes a 9. So 9 gets placed in box 5, which places the 6 here as well. So that's 6, that's 9, that's 9, that's 1, that's 1. So this is 2, 3, 4 or 5. Maybe we should have had like a light blue digit or something to highlight those cells, but I'm not sure. I think we're still doing okay. 6. So now 6 gets placed in box 8 there, and that falls. So this can't be on the path. So the path goes down and then into here. So Inks's path goes there, 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 and is finished. So even though this cell here could have been on the path, it was proved not to be, because of the way that the path had to navigate through box 8, look. So all of those get filled in. So neither of these are 3s. So what we probably need to do, so there's a 3 in one of those in row 7, so neither of these are 3s. So what have we not done? Oh, hang on, I see. There's no 6 in this 12 cage. So this is 1, 2, 4, 5, and there's no 3 in it. So this is a 3. So 3s, I think, are going to be the critical thing. We can do some 3ing, and hopefully that will help us. Although, actually, that... Yeah, we can place... that's an important 3. Is that really valid? How did I know that wasn't 3? Oh, because of Sudoku. How did I know that wasn't 3? Oh, yeah, because... Oh, look, this cage. That's got to be 12. That's a 4 and that's an 8. Ah, so purple is 8. And so this is a 4 by Sudoku. Okay, and hopefully, if we haven't made a ricket, we're going to be able to just use this new information to help the puzzle. I'm trying to see where the breaking points are. Yeah, so now 3 in this box is here, which means that's 2 by sort of communication through the 12 cage. So we can do a whole load of tidying up there. Yeah, we get a 3 here by Sudoku. What about this 2? Is that doing some major? Yeah, it's doing some more work down here. 2. 2 is in one of those cells. 3 comes out of here. 3 comes out of here. So 3 in this. Yeah, I should just focus on 3s. Let's double click 3s. Oh no, I've not got many of them actually. Is that really true? Yeah, where's 3 in row 5? It's got to be there. That's the only place it can be. So I've got a 3 in one of these 2 cells, a 3 in one of those 2, and a 3 in one. Oh dear, that's terrible. That's not going to help me, is it? Oh, I see. No, it's lovely. Right, look at this digit. This one here, that green one. We can ask where that green one goes in this box, can't we? It can't repeat in its own cage and it can't repeat in its own column. So it's that digit, and it's definitely not a 3, therefore. So that's not 3, which places the 3 here, which unwinds all of our 3s. All your 3s belong to us. And this digit is that digit, which means it's also this digit, which nearly does something, but then decides not to. No, there's probably more we can do. If this is a 4-5 pair, that seems to be a 2. So that's a 5, that's a 4, that's a 5, that's a 2, that's a 4, that's a 5, that's a 2, that's a 5, that's a 4, that's a 2. So this column is done. That's a 4, that's a 5, that's a 4. Please don't get deadly patterned, Simon. Do not get deadly patterned. This is a 2. That's a 4, that's a 5, that's a 2, that's a 5. I think it is working. Oh, that's going to be good. That's a 2, so that's 4, 5 in the cage. That's a 2, that's a 5. That is one of the most brilliant puzzles I've ever done in my life. Yes. Wow. How long did it take? Just over an hour. Wow. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculously good. Right, let's read the stuff. So, experiment completed successfully. Test date 4th of February 1975. Cells visited 42. Inactive cages entered 4. Active cages entered 0. Tick. I have to keep reminding myself that she came into existence only 6 weeks ago. It's clear she's not just a quick learner, but is drawing on months of hard-won experience inherited from her friend. I am astounded that the copying process can preserve memory and skill to such a high degree, but there seems to be no doubt that this is the case. Marty, what you've done there is quite ridiculously clever. It's amazing. Basically, it's just somehow he's worked out that just a cupcake and an X forces a sort of a maximum of a 2-cell and a 4-cell path, and then the particular positioning of the wall spots forces this Phinx path to be so absurd as to utterly constrain the Inks path. No, I know that I don't know how many people will watch this video or even try the puzzle, but you show me something in the comments that is cleverer than that, because honestly, there isn't much. There isn't. That is just, it's beautiful and unbelievably brilliant. I loved that, Marty. I think that's one of the best wrap run puzzles you've ever made, and that is high praise. Wow. Let me know in the comments how you got on with this puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.